It is morning. When you heard this sound, you got out of bed like any other ordinary morning. You realized that no one was home, but you started to eat your breakfast, thinking that everyone has something to do. At that moment, you looked at your phone, but it was very strange. No one had posted a single post on social media. When you listened to the surroundings, there was no sound of a car, no sign of movement. Immediately, you went outside and started walking around to solve this situation. Not a single person or trace of a person caught your eye. This situation started to disturb you a little more. You immediately called your relatives, but there was no one to pick up the phone. What was going on? Was this some kind of a joke? If you browse, you can see that I include interesting and sometimes scientific topics on my channel. If you like this kind of content, my only request from you is to subscribe and like it, so you will provide me with a great motivation. You went through the streets one by one, checked many places, but no one was there. Tired and exhausted, you sat down somewhere. You speculated where everyone could have gone, but nothing could explain such an abnormal absence. You decided to wait, and after some time had passed, you accepted that there was no one else but you. Now there were only you and other living beings in this world. At first, you were quite uncomfortable because you might never see your relatives again. But then you started to take things into account, and things became even more exciting. Now there is no boss to scold you for not going to work, and there is no need to go to work. You already have the whole place to yourself. Everything is yours, even if you are broke. So it's time to do what you want. Come on, let the fun begin. Everywhere it is so quiet that you hear your stomach growling with hunger. First, you go to the grocery store and start eating the best food you want. Then you decide to look for a luxe villa instead of going home. Surely you wouldn't tire yourself out walking, would you? So the first thing you do is choose the perfect car. Whether you go to a car showroom and pick one out, or you pick one of the cars outside. That is, if you can find the key. Still, this is not an unsolvable problem for you. You've done the car thing. Now it's time to find a luxury home. On your way, you've noticed some entertainment venues, and you've decided to spend some time there before choosing a house. After all, there is no one to give you a time limit, and there is no such thing as expensive or cheap places. You had a bit of fun on your own, but it's not a great fun on your own in an environment without friends or people. Still, it's okay. There is a lot to do in the future that you have planned in your imagination. You've finally moved into a luxury apartment and had one of the quietest nights of sleep you've ever had. In a world with a population of 1, it is now your second morning. The feeling of doing what you want got you out of bed as soon as you woke up. You are enjoying your freedom. You use everything for free. You go where you want. There is no one to arrest you. As long as you are sane, don't do anything abnormal, and don't cause chaos in the city. Everywhere is your vacation. Bored of your home after 2 days? Then move to another house. Is your dress dirty? Buy a dress from the best brand. Are you hungry again? But wait, you can't always eat food that will spoil, like delicious meat products, because some products need refrigeration to keep them from spoiling, and refrigeration needs electricity, and electricity needs human control. And now some deficiencies are starting to appear. And it's not just electricity, there are things that always require human control, and you can't deal with these problems on your own because you're not a jack of all trades. So it's not a case of eating everything and using everything unlimitedly. Now that the electricity has been cut off, you have to spend the nights with lanterns and candles. Be careful, as there are no experts to control the gas flow and adjust the levels at all times. There could be big explosions and fires in the future. In fact, if there is a nuclear center in your city, you are at great risk, because there is no one to keep the nuclear plant under control every minute. So your city's fate could be similar to the Chernobyl. You better move to a safer city. In the meantime, no matter what happens, over time nature will continue to repair itself, and animals will start to spread everywhere, noticing the silence of humans. From this point on, not only fun days, but also exciting moments begin. Imagine that in order to survive, you will first have to use and consume everything in the markets near you. and then you will have to move to other places every time. This means you have to protect yourself from the wild animals that come into the city on your way, and don't forget the zoos. Most, if not all, hungry animals somehow break free from their captivity and spread throughout the city. If you are lucky, they will hunt each other and satisfy their hunger. Otherwise, you will be the first one they meet and you will be ruined. Take drastic measures to protect yourself by immediately finding a weapon from military bases or gun shops. You don't have to be stuck in the same country. If you have a dream of moving to another country, you can move there. Of course, if you can't fly or boat, it has to be a country that you can reach by land, by car. Anyway, after all this stress of protection and traveling long distances, it's time to do something fun again. Let's say you came across an entertainment center that you saw on the internet once upon a time. You went there, spent some time there, but it was still not the fun you imagined because there was no one to serve you. So you thought, what would you like to do in a world without people, without any rules, and what would be more fun? You have already started to think of action-packed things. Think about it. You are doing things that you would never do in your lifetime if it were everyone else. After all, this is human beings. You never know what they will do and what they will enjoy over time. You found an explosive and blew something up. While you were having such dangerous fun, you lost control for a short time and even caused some injuries. Remember, if you don't treat even a small wound properly, that is, if you don't know about medical treatment, it can become infected and grow, leading to your demise sooner than you expect. Fortunately, let's assume you have some knowledge. What's next? Blow up a bank with gold bars? No, what do you need the bars for? Everything is free anyway. Then it's breaking into restricted areas. Let's see what kind of information there is that we don't know about. Sounds like a pretty exciting request, doesn't it? Congratulations on surviving a couple of years with these kinds of trials and tribulations. But the truth is that you're alone. There's no one around to talk to about the feelings you've experienced, the places you've seen, the knowledge you've gained. In short, you feel like you're in an endless void. According to experts, there are some vital elements that a person who is alone should take care of. First, providing a safe space where you can get water, food, and other essentials. Second, and perhaps most importantly, protecting your mental health. If you cannot keep your psychology strong, you run the risk of self-destruction. Therefore, you have to make peace with reality and always keep the situation under control, even if it will last for the rest of your life. If a person is alone for a long time, it is inevitable that over time they will forget many things from their past. Even the face of a person whom we loved so much and thought we could never forget, we can completely forget in 10 years. Someone who has been alone for such a long time may create imaginary friends to cope with this loneliness. For example, by drawing human faces on objects, or making puppets, and attributing human characteristics to them. Because human beings are social beings, and over time they need to talk and share their feelings. So, social isolation and loneliness have been shown to increase the risk of depression, anxiety, and other psychological problems. By the way, if there are some of you in the audience who don't share your feelings and are withdrawn, I would like to remind you to share your feelings with people you trust and to keep yourself going, despite all the difficulties. A meta-analysis found that individuals with strong social connections live 50% longer than those with weak social connections. This suggests that social relationships play as important a role in health as healthy eating, regular exercise, and not smoking. So building and maintaining social connections is an important part of maintaining both our mental and physical health. Now let's get back to the one-man hero of this story. Yes, you have done everything you can think of that can be done alone. You have traveled from here to there, driven expensive cars, consumed the best products, visited luxurious places, and sometimes committed destructive acts. Maybe you still haven't lost hope of finding another human being somewhere, so your psychology has remained a little more intact. Now you are left with two options. You can either continue this adventure traveling all over the world until you run out of energy, or you can find a place for yourself and live there until you die. Of course, These options depend on each person's psychology, imagination, and age at the time. My scenario would be to travel to different places and stay alive longer in the hope of finding any living human being. What would your scenario be like? If you woke up alone one morning, what would your to-do list look like? I would love it if you share it in the comments. Take care, and I hope to see you in the next video.